The Harappan Civilization and its seals. The Harappan Civilization, also known as the Indus Valley Civilization, IVC, flourished between 2600 BCE and 1900 BCE in the northwestern regions of the Indian subcontinent, primarily in present-day Pakistan and western India. It is widely regarded as one of the earliest urban civilizations in the world, alongside Mesopotamia and ancient Egypt. The civilization was remarkable for its advanced urban planning, standardized weights and measures, complex drainage systems, and flourishing trade networks. However, one of the most enduring legacies of the Harappans lies not in their cities alone, but in the small, intricately carved seals that they left behind. These seals, numbering in the thousands, provide us with a window into the Harappan world, its religion, economy, trade, culture, and possibly even its political organization. Among them, the so-called Pashupati seal has become iconic, sparking debates about early forms of Hindu religion, proto-Shiva worship, and symbolic representations of power and fertility. Alongside the Pashupati seal, numerous other seals depict animals, composite creatures, and undeciphered scripts that continue to puzzle scholars to this day. This thesis explores the Harappan civilization, its seals, the famous Pashupati seal, other significant seals, and the broader implications of these artifacts in understanding one of humanity's earliest great civilizations. The Harappan Civilization. An overview: geographical extent. The Harappan civilization covered a vast area, stretching across 1.25 million square kilometers, larger than Mesopotamia and Egypt combined. The civilization's sites were spread across present-day Pakistan, Sindh, Punjab, Balochistan, northwestern India, Gujarat, Rajasthan, Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, and even extended into Afghanistan and Iran. The two major urban centers were Harappa, in Punjab, Pakistan, and Mohenjo-Daro, in Sindh, Pakistan. Other important sites included Dholavira, Lothal, Kalibangan, Banawali, Chanhudaro, and Rakhigarhi. Urban planning and architecture. The Harappans demonstrated remarkable urban planning. Cities were laid out in grid patterns, with main streets running north-south and east-west. Residential and public areas were clearly demarcated. Houses were often made of baked bricks, a technological advancement for the time. Sophisticated drainage and sewage systems were unparalleled in the ancient world. Large public structures such as the Great Bath of Mohenjo-Daro suggest ritual or communal use. Economy and trade. The Harappans engaged in agriculture, craft production, and long-distance trade. They cultivated wheat, barley, peas, sesame, and cotton. Trade extended as far as Mesopotamia, as evidenced by Mesopotamian records mentioning Meluha, believed to be the Indus region. Seals were often used as trading identifiers, functioning like trademarks or tokens of ownership. Religion and culture. The Harappan religion remains elusive because their script remains undeciphered. However, archaeological evidence suggests worship of fertility symbols such as mother goddesses and phallic forms. Animal symbolism, particularly bulls, elephants, tigers, and rhinoceroses. Ritual baths or water-related religious practices. Possible early forms of yoga and meditation, as suggested by the Pashupati seal. Seals of the Harappan Civilization. The seals of the Harappan Civilization are among the most fascinating artifacts unearthed from the sites. They were typically made of steatite, a soft stone, which was then carved, fired, and sometimes glazed. Most seals were rectangular or square, though circular and triangular examples also exist. Features of Harappan seals. Material and craftsmanship. Most seals were made from steatite. Some were crafted from terracotta, ivory, faience, or metal. The carving was intricate, displaying advanced artistic skills. Designs. Seals often depicted animals, both real, bulls, elephants, tigers, rhinoceroses, and imaginary, unicorn-like creatures. Human or divine figures also appeared, though less commonly. Many seals featured short inscriptions in the Indus script, still undeciphered. Function. Used in trade to stamp goods and mark ownership. Possibly amulets with religious or protective functions. Some may have served as administrative or identification tools. The Pashupati seal. The Pashupati seal, discovered at Mohenjo-Daro in the 1920s, remains one of the most iconic artifacts of the Harappan civilization. Its significance lies in its unique depiction of a seated, horned figure surrounded by animals, often interpreted as a proto-form of the Hindu deity Shiva, particularly in his aspect as Pashupati, the Lord of Beasts. Description of the seal. The seal is square in shape, made of steatite. At its center is a horned figure, seated in what resembles a yogic posture, possibly Mulabandhasana. The figure appears to have 3 faces, a possible reference to Trinity or supernatural vision. Around the central figure are 4 animals: an elephant, a tiger, a rhinoceros, and a buffalo. Beneath the figure are 2 deer or antelopes. An inscription in the Indus script runs along the top edge. Interpretations. Proto-Shiva hypothesis. Early scholars such as John Marshall, 1928, interpreted the figure as a proto-form of Shiva. The yogic posture and horned headgear resembled associations with asceticism and power. The surrounding animals reinforced the title Pashupati, Lord of Beasts. Alternative theories. Some scholars argue that it represents a fertility deity, connected to animal husbandry and agriculture. Others view it as a shamanic figure, mediating between humans and animals. A few reject the Proto-Shiva interpretation, claiming the resemblance is coincidental. Religious and cultural significance. Regardless of interpretation, the Pashupati seal suggests that Harappans practiced animal worship or considered animals sacred, had rituals involving meditation, fertility, and power, possibly laid foundations for later Hindu religious traditions, particularly the cult of Shiva. Other Harappan seals. While the Pashupati seal is the most famous, thousands of other seals reveal diverse aspects of Harappan society. Animal seals. Unicorn seal. The most common motif, depicting a mythical one-horned creature. Its significance is debated, but it may symbolize a clan, deity, or trade guild. Bull seals. The humped bull, or zebu, was a recurring symbol of strength, fertility, and wealth. Elephant, rhinoceros, and tiger seals represented wild power and possibly protective deities. Composite creatures. Some seals depicted fantastical creatures, blending features of multiple animals. These may have represented mythological beings, protective spirits, or symbolic metaphors of unity and power. Human figures and ritual scenes. Some seals show humans engaged in ritual activities. Scenes of worship, offerings, and dance-like postures suggest ceremonial practices. One seal depicts a person standing between 2 tigers, possibly symbolizing divine power or triumph over nature. Script on seals. The Indus script, consisting of around 400 to 600 signs, appears frequently on seals. Its brevity suggests it was a logosyllabic script, used for names, ownership, or short religious formulas. Despite decades of research, the script remains undeciphered. The combination of script and imagery suggests seals were multifunctional: economic, administrative, and religious. Scholarly debates on Harappan seals. The interpretation of Harappan seals has sparked lively debates: economic versus religious function. Were seals purely administrative tools for trade, or did they also hold religious significance? Evidence suggests they were both. The Pashupati controversy. Is the figure really a proto-Shiva, or does it belong to an entirely distinct Harappan religious system, unrelated to later Hinduism? Symbolism of the unicorn seal. Was it a mythical creature, or a stylized bull seen in profile? Indus script. Some scholars argue it was a fully developed writing system. Others claim it was proto-symbolic, without full linguistic structure. Conclusion. The Harappan civilization, though still shrouded in mystery, continues to captivate historians and archaeologists through its enduring material culture. The seals, particularly the Pashupati seal, stand as silent witnesses to the sophistication of Harappan society. They reveal a civilization deeply engaged in trade, administration, religion, and symbolic representation. The Pashupati seal highlights the complex spiritual life of the Harappans, suggesting connections, whether direct or symbolic, to later Indian religious traditions. The diversity of seals, from unicorns to ritual scenes, indicates a pluralistic society where religion, economy, and symbolism were intertwined. In the absence of deciphered texts, these seals act as the primary voice of the Harappans. They invite us to reflect on a civilization that laid the foundations of urban culture in South Asia and possibly influenced later traditions of the Indian subcontinent. Ultimately, the study of Harappan seals is not just an archaeological exercise, but also a quest to understand the roots of human civilization, the evolution of religion, and the universal desire to symbolize, communicate, and transcend. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.